All right, everybody, so today we are going to talk about claim, evidence, and reasoning. And we've done this a little bit before, so does anybody remember what a claim is? Yes.
It's like a question.
Louder.
It's like when you ask a question, what the question is basically asking for.
So it's kind of like the answer to a question. So a claim is going to be a statement that we make. You're saying something. You're saying that table is red. This gets followed by evidence. So what is evidence?
Something that supports your answer.
Okay, evidence is something that supports your answer. It backs it up. Where else have you guys used evidence besides just in my science class? David?
When we do projects, we have to give evidence on why this happens.
Okay, so and that's in
Science.
okay, in science, where else? Noel?
In reading.
In reading, yes, in reading, right? You guys have to cite the text. So some of those words that you use when you're using evidence are like because, I know this, the author said, I read it on this page, my data supports. Anytime you're using those kinds of words, we're giving evidence. And the last piece of claim evidence reasoning is the reasoning. So what is reasoning?
Putting both the claim and the evidence together to make one full statement and restating the statement that you just made.
Okay, Jorge, do you want to add to that?
It's like explaining why that evidence matters to your claim.
Great answers. It's like putting them both together, and it's like saying, well, who cares? Why does this matter? Why is that evidence important and valuable? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to watch a video of a girl who thinks her dad's an alien, and we are going to break apart her argument and see if we can find her claim, her evidence, and her reasoning. After that, you're going to apply what you learned to making your own claim, evidence, and reasoning about a video. Are you ready? Okay, so we just watched a video that kind of gave us an example of this type of argument. So what I'd like you guys to do now is turn and talk to a partner or get in a triad if there's not a number of you, and see if you can identify that girl's claim, evidence, and reasoning. And if any piece of that argument is missing, see if you can fill in the blanks and think of what her evidence or reasoning could have been. Go ahead and start.
The claim is that her dad is an alien, and evidence is that one of them is that he speaks a weird language.
And that would kind of give reasoning how he would probably be an alien and he drinks green stuff and normal people wouldn't drink that.
So they would totally speak a different language, and a spaceship, since the car is kind of like a spaceship. I think she thinks that her dad's an alien because he is.
Yeah, because he does different things, like he drinks weird stuff, he drives a spaceship, he does different things.
Her evidence is that he goggles a lot and that he drinks green, I think a smoothie, and that he has a spaceship when he drives to work. And his reasoning is that he drinks green, I believe smoothie.
That she doesn't know about, and also for the spaceship, how I think she hasn't seen the car before, like she hasn't seen commercials, so she thinks it's an art car.
I can have everybody wrap up their conversations in 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some equity sticks here to have people share out. So, Noel, what do you think the claim was in this video?
So a claim that I jotted down is she thinks her dad is an alien.
Okay, can I have thumbs up if we agree? If everyone agreed with, okay, great. So we have a consensus that is the claim. Can I have someone give me some evidence? Jorge, what's one piece of evidence that you and your partner discussed?
That the little girl said he speaks in weird language, drinks green stuff, and has a spaceship.
Okay, thumbs up if you found some of the same evidence that Jorge has. Would anyone like to make an attempt at the reasoning? Do we agree that the reasoning was missing from the video?
Yes.
Okay, Debbie, do you want to share that?
The reasoning could have been that what she knows about aliens is that they speak other languages, they eat things that other people don't, and that they're from they're from outer space and some other place, and that they have spaceships.
So her reasoning is coming from her background knowledge. Maybe stuff she's seen on TV, maybe movies she's watched. We use reasoning, we get our reasoning from a lot of different places. It could be from something we've read, it could be from something we've seen, it could be from an experiment we've done. Reasoning is really your chance to take your knowledge, take what you know about a subject, and use it to explain. So evidence is like, what did I see? What did I read? What do I know for sure? That's concrete. You can't argue with it. It's like your facts. And then your reasoning is really going to be how you explain it, and you use knowledge that you already have to apply to the concept that we're working on. So in a moment, I'm going to show you a video of a tea bag being lit on fire, and you're going to notice something strange happen. And then I'm going to ask you and your group to come up with a claim, some evidence, and some reasoning based on the work we've been doing around density and energy and matter, to see if you can come up with this really thorough explanation of why the tea bag reacts this way. So, based on the video that you just watched, I'd like everyone to take 2 minutes by themselves and write down a claim, evidence, and reasoning. When we're done with our individual think time, I'm going to ask you to share out with a partner, and as a partner, come up with one claim, evidence, reasoning statement. Then partners are going to pair up with other partners to make a quad, and you're going to share out your claim, evidence, reasoning, and then listen to your partner group share out their claim, evidence, reasoning. Are there any clarifying questions? Okay, go ahead and start on the paper in front of you writing your claim, evidence, and reasoning.
Diana, can you tell me about where you found your evidence from this?
When I saw the tea bag float.
Okay, so in this case, your evidence is something you actually witnessed happening. Okay. Where else might you find evidence?
The data.
Okay, from like an experiment that you did. So Jorge, how are you gonna approach doing your reasoning?
What I said was the tea bag flies because it was lit on fire.
Okay. And what does that have to do with like why it floats?
It flies because if it has less density, it jumps or it flies because it's on fire. Since all the molecules start speeding up, so they start separating, and as they're separating, they start to burn up, and then they start like jumping because they don't.
So this is coming back to what we've been talking about with density.
Yeah.
Can I see with your show of hands how many more minutes you need to be ready to share with a partner? Okay, so we need 1 to 2 more minutes. Go ahead and take that time.
How can you elaborate on what you wrote? I see that your reasoning is based on density, and I think that that's true, that concept has a lot to do with what's happening here. Is there a way that you could expand on your explanation a little bit?
So the stuff inside the tea bag, when you light it on fire, it floats because it's like small and
The tea bag gets smaller.
yeah.
All right, everyone could find a partner next to them, groups of 2, and go ahead and start sharing out. And as a partner group, you're going to come up with a single statement. So some of you might have different reasoning or different evidence. And what you're going to have to do is, as a partner, you're going to have to come up with one single statement that you'll share out with another partner group. So it might require some conversation back and forth about you guys trying to figure out whose reasoning you want to use or how you want to combine ideas. Go ahead and get started.
Light a tea bag, it will fly. My evidence is I watched a tea bag video and saw it on fire. And my reasoning is when you heat up the molecules, it's less and it floats.
I agree with that because
Marvicha, I remember you saying that your answer was a little bit different, right? You were kind of thinking about the size of the tea bag. And how was your answer different from Marvicha's?
Because I was talking about molecules and how like every time the molecules they get faster and they spread out and then it floats.
Okay, so we have like the size of the actual tea bag versus the movement of the molecules. I wonder if there's a way you guys could work those two ideas together to make a really strong piece of reasoning.
One thing that I got was that evidence on fire, the molecules inside,
They were going fast. And then the reasoning for that would be the tea bag water because there was less density and the molecules would wax very quickly.
What do you mean when you say less density?
Would so less density would make it like float, I guess, more. It's like less heavy
Okay, so it's less dense compared to what?
compared to like a lot of density.
So what do you think about the air around the tea bag?
The air was just the air. It does its own thing, doesn't it?
Okay, so do you think the air around the tea bag is more dense or less dense than
More
the tea bag?
dense.
More dense. So do you think that the tea bag being surrounded by air that's more dense affects why it floats?
Yes. Yeah.
So how could you represent that in your reasoning? The idea of it's not just about the tea bag's density, but it also is about the air surrounding air's density. I wonder if there's a way you could put that all together to make a really strong piece of reasoning.
So one claim that we got, or that I got, was that the tea bag will float when it's on fire because the molecules they like spread out and then they
So crazy.
like rapidly. What did you get for the evidence?
The evidence was that it depends on the air around it. The air has more density. It doesn't it has free space.
Tea bag flies when
Inside the tea bag, since it has less dense. It has
my
nowhere to
evidence
go.
is I know this because we saw it. My reasoning is that this happened because of density. All the molecules separate and speed up when lit on fire, which then makes it fly.
in addition, I think it makes it float because since it's burning up, it makes it less space, which makes it more since they get together, go very fast, and I think that's what makes it float.
And the evidence is that the molecules in the inside of the tea bag goes, they split apart, and then the outside molecules stay put, so that density will flow faster. It'll float.
My reasoning is with the video and what we have learned that when the molecules inside are fast and the molecules outside are slow, that would cause reaction of the tea bag going up in the air.
All right, you can end those conversations in 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you so much for wrapping up those conversations quickly. I heard a lot of really good thoughts, and I think a lot of partners were able to take some different ideas from each and put them together to come up with some really strong statements about what was going on in the phenomenon that we saw. So what I'd like you to do now is if each partner group could find another partner group. So for example, Dainara and Crystal, you might match up with Brandon and Emily. You guys have it easy because you're all right there at that table. So 2 partners are going to match up with another 2 partners to make 4, to make a quad. and you're gonna share out your claim evidence and reasoning and see if there's anything from your new partners that you didn't have in your original statement that now you can put together. Go ahead and start.
My editing role
My
Our-
was that when you light up a key,
Our claim was teabag will flow with fire. You can put it in there. And my evidence was I saw it happen. And our reasoning was when you light the teabag on fire, molecules start sparking all around it, and the air around it stays the same, and that makes the teabag flow. Because when something is denser and less denser, then the thing that's less denser will fly. Yeah. That's what I.
The evidence, I've witnessed it fly, and the data you get when you do the experiment.
I agree.
teabag is that the molecules in the inside of the teabag goes there. They spread apart faster, and then the molecules in the outside of the teabag they stay put, so it'll make the density easier to form.
It's kind of had the same evidence or like reasoning is about the molecules and how there's less and how there's more, and that because there's less and more together.
So I heard some really good partner conversations. Real quick, can I see a show of hands? How many of you heard something a little different from your partner groups? Okay, so I see quite a few hands. How many of you then took that different idea and were able to work it into your reasoning, making it even stronger? Yeah, so a lot of people. So one of the values in being able to share an idea multiple times, think of it in your own head, share it with a partner, and then even share it again with another partner, is that you strengthen your understanding when you have to repeat your idea a lot. But you also can gather a lot of really good ideas from other people and keep making your reasoning stronger and stronger. And the idea is that by the end, the claim you started with and the claim you're ending with are very different and are much stronger, and you have a lot more evidence because you're able to kind of look at a lot of other people's ideas. So does anyone want to share out their group's claim, evidence, and reasoning? Or actually, I think I heard everyone pretty much have the same claim and evidence. Can I just hear reasoning? Go ahead.
My reasoning is with the video and what we have learned so far, we learned that when molecules inside the teabag were hot and the molecules outside the teabag were cold, it made the teabag fly up as a result of them two mixing.
Okay, anybody want to add on to Jenny's reasoning or disagree or share their own idea?
I want to share. I think when you light the teabag on fire, molecules start going really fast and splintering into the teabag, and the air around it is still. So I think when that happens, the bag floats and flies. And I think this happens because when something is dense and the other thing is less dense, the thing that's less dense would fly.
Okay, we have a lot going on here with density. Evan, do you want to share?
I would like to add on to Jenny and Brandon's reasoning. My reasoning is that when the teabag is floating, it's because of the density of the inside and the outside. So it's like less and more density, so that causes the teabag to float.
So I'm hearing this idea of there's something happening with the density, but it's not just the density inside the teabag. It's that density compared to the air around it too, right? So it's not just that the density is changing in the teabag. And I think Heaven really brought that point up, that it's that density in comparison with the cooler air around it. Now, I know Marvisha brought up an idea of matter and the teabag getting smaller. Did anyone else have that as a piece in their reasoning?
What we said is that since the teabag is getting is on fire, it gets smaller and smaller. So since the molecules inside it are moving fast, when there's a chance that they get out, and so the teabag starts flying.
Because do we see the teabag fly at the very beginning?
No.
When does it fly? Yeah, the very end when it's getting a lot smaller and it's already burned up a lot. Do you think that's for a reason?
Yes.
What do you think that reason is?
It's less dense.
Okay, it's less dense when there's less of it.
And it has less matter.
It has less matter. I hear David bringing this idea into the room about matter. It has less matter. Do you agree that things with less matter are a little bit lighter?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a couple of competing concepts that are going on, and I think everybody really did a good job of bringing that out in their reasoning. What I would like you to do now is your exit ticket for today. I'm going to ask you to individually write a claim evidence reasoning statement, and I would like you to use our phenomenon, our anchor phenomenon for this unit as the question that you're answering. So does anyone remember what our anchor phenomenon for the unit is? Can I go ahead, Jorge?
When you put a balloon in the freezer, it gets smaller.
So our phenomenon, in other words, what your claim, you're kind of given your claim in this case. When you put a balloon in the freezer, it gets smaller. I would like you to see if you can, based on the labs and activities we've done so far in this unit, if you could pull some evidence and some reasoning and make your own statement about it. And this will be our exit ticket for today.